We want to thank the administration of the school giving us the opportunity to be here to engage you for this brief period. We are from Preserving the Future today, that is PTFT. If I say PTFT, I want you to respond by saying Preserving the Future today. PTFT. Preserving the future. We want you to know that you are the future and we can do our best in helping preserve the future by giving you the information, the knowledge that you need so that you can be able to make informed decisions, take critical decisions, and also live a more responsible life. At PTFT, we try to engage youth in senior high school on social issues like adolescent pregnancy, antimicrobial resistance, drug abuse, climate change, our 6 thematic areas, things that we know that they are very key and important that you need to know to help you live a more responsible life. So without wasting my time, we'll welcome ASP Dr. Miller.
So it's a great privilege to be here. I'm very honored to be talking to you this morning. I don't take it for granted. You are so special to us. Yes, you are, because you are our future leaders. How many of you have heard about antimicrobial resistance? Nobody. Wow, then it makes my coming here very, very necessary and important. So when we talk about antimicrobials, you've heard about antibiotics, right? You've heard about antivirals. You've also heard about antifungals and then antiparasites. So when we talk about antimicrobials, we are talking about antibiotics. How many of you have taken an antimalarial before? So you've taken antimalarials before. So if you are taking an antimalarial, it is an antiparasitic agent. Okay, and all of these go on to talk about, they all are under antimicrobials. So let's talk about antimicrobial resistance. What does it mean? So when we talk about antimicrobial resistance, it is the ability of a microorganism. What are our microorganisms? Our bacteria, our viruses, and our parasites. It is their ability to stop an antimicrobial, such as our antibiotics, like our penicillins, and our antivirals, like our antiretroviral drugs, or our antiparasitic, like our antimalarials, from working. So they are able to stop the antibiotic or the antiviral or the antimalarials from working against it. So that is antimicrobial resistance. When you are taking your antimicrobials, they won't work because there's what? Resistance. The bacteria or the microbials in you have been able to develop a certain resistance to the drug. So you treat malaria, it's not working. You treat urinary tract infection, it's not working. You can even treat a common cold and it may not work. So now let's look at why it's a public health threat and why I'm here today. And I'm advocating that you are aware of antimicrobial resistance. If you look at statistics that have come so far, okay, there's an evidence of emergence and spread of the drug resistance disease. Okay, so we are having a lot of bats, let's say parasites that cause malaria being resistant to maybe a drug like Coartem. We are having resistance strains of the bats in our system. And yet, listeners, you know the good statistics. About 5 million people died of an infection. Whether it's a bacterial infection, it's a viral infection, or it's a parasite infection. Okay, so in the year 2050, if we don't take care of our antimicrobials, it's estimated that we have 10 million deaths annually if we don't take care of our antimicrobials today. So we have to preserve the future today. Okay, what are the causes? So the causes are this: one, you have an overprescribing of antibiotics. Many of you go to the pharmacy and then you say that, oh, Mamiflagyl. How many of you do that? Without prescription. A lot of us. And because our chemical shop and then pharmacies also want to sell and also want to make money, they don't also want to ask you plenty questions, and then they just give it to you. Okay, and then also patients do not finish their treatment. How many of you start a treatment therapy and don't complete it? Okay, so you're also guilty. What can we do? Number one, we are creating awareness, and that is what I'm doing this morning. And then you have to prevent infection. How do we prevent infection? When COVID came, we're told to do what? Hand washing, hand rub, sanitation. Please let us continue. And then improve antimicrobial use. When you are giving any anti-infective therapy, make sure you complete the course. Don't take some for 3 days and then the next couple of days that you are remaining, you keep the packet somewhere and say, I'm well. Then let's eat more organic food. I'm so glad to see people growing lettuce in these. It's very good. And then be advocate. Now you've heard my story. You've listened to me today. So those of you who are, look amongst yourself, your friends who are not here, tell them about antimicrobial resistance. PTFT. Okay. So on that note, I'm going to hand over the mic, and then if you have any questions, you ask after the whole presentation is done. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. How are you all? There are many types of drugs. My sister who just finished talking about the legal drugs that we abuse or misuse. Okay, and as we go along misusing these drugs, it gets to a time you don't get the high that you need, so we move on to the hard drugs, and that brings distraction or a problem to us. So some of the hard drugs we have in the system, we have cannabis, which is commonly known as weed, abonsam power, Mary Jane, herbs, grass, ganja, high grade. It has a lot of names. We also have what we call cocaine. Okay, cocaine is gotten from a plant called the coca plant from South America. We have also what we call heroin, also gotten from a plant called the opium poppy plant from Asia. Then we have other synthetic drugs like methamphetamine, ecstasy, ketamine, and the rest. All these drugs are being abused by people, and it's causing a lot of harm to them. Now, let's look at the effects of these drugs when you take them. First, to the individual. When you take it as a person, the first thing it does is that it goes to your brain, okay, and affects the way the brain functions. And for us as youth or people who are still developing, it is very, very important for us to know that when you start using drugs, when you have not attained the age beyond 20 years, it is very dangerous because your brain is still developing. There is this part of the brain called the frontal lobe that makes executive decisions and critical decisions, and that is the last part of the brain that develops, and it is after 20 years. So any action, any behavior, any act that you continue to take part in, it becomes part and parcel of you, and it's very difficult for you to stop after the age of 20 years. So please, if you have started taking drugs, seek for help now so that you can stay away from it, else it will become very, very dangerous to you. Apart from the brain, okay, the entire body is affected. Your lungs, your liver, your kidney, your reproductive system is affected. For the ladies, your menstrual cycle will be affected. Instead of getting the normal 7 days flow, you may not have it at all, or it go beyond 7 days and the likes. Okay, for the men too, you may get low sperms, deformed sperms, and other things which will affect your childbearing in future. So please, let's be very, very cautious.
Okay, so my name is Doris Hansen, Nadukwe Doris Hansen from the Home Econs class. I'm in Form 2, and at today's gathering, I've get to know how to take medicines. If you are sick or if there's something wrong with you, you shouldn't, by your own means, you shouldn't take medicines without a doctor's or a nurse's prescription.
My name is Anita Jetepe, and at today's gathering, I learned drug abuse. At first, I thought drug abuse is taking medicine from the pharmacy without prescription, but today I got to learn about how it affects us individually. I heard it affects our brain, and some effects are also pregnancy, broken homes, and some other bad things that could happen to us.
My name is Liliana Join Shiralamte. From today's gathering, I learned that when you are alone or when you are traveling, you shouldn't leave your backpack or food when leaving. You should take them along or finish the food before leaving, because someone might put a drug inside. So from here, when I get home, I'll educate my family members that when they go to a gathering, maybe parties or birthday parties, they should finish their food before leaving. And my family too will be traveling. I'll educate them to always send their backpacks along wherever they go. Thank you.
My name is Olivia Daddy from Junior Heights 3 class, and from today's gathering I've learned that we have antimicrobial resistance, and we have antimicrobials like antibiotics, antivirals, and antiparasites. So in order not to get this antimicrobial resistance, we should make sure we complete whenever we fall sick, we should make sure that we complete the medicines that are being given to us.
My name is Shalom Abinajima, a student from Urali Senior High School, and I'm in Science 1. Today I learned about causes of drug abuse and some of the ways you can treat it. And some of the causes of drug abuse is peer group pressure. This is when you follow peer groups and they introduce you into drugs that you are not supposed to take.
My name is Sarah Soundful, and I learned what we can do to improve on how to inform people about antimicrobial. And one, creating awareness to people. Others, maybe someone doesn't know about antimicrobial, you have to create awareness to them. And eating good organic foods.
My name is William Brown Kesi, a student of O'Reilly Senior High School. Actually, I had no idea about AMR, but today I had a lot of education. I learned that AMR can be gotten from antibiotics, anti-malaria, and stuff. So actually, when I go, I'm going to educate my friends and parents at home. They should finish their medications, and then they should not leave their food when they are going somewhere, and they should always pack their stuffs by themselves when they get to the airport. Thank you.
Agud Odishos is my name, and I've inspired a lot today. I realized that self-medication has been more dangerous than actually thought, because on the topic of antimicrobial resistance, I realized that self-medication is one of the things that has been causing us to actually not really kill the antibacteria that are actually within us. So self-medication is something I'm going to actually educate the entire public on and help to stop it. And also, we should test for what? Diseases before actually go for drugs. And also on the issue of drug abuse, I do realize that greater of the youth population actually be taking illegal drugs. So these measures that we have been taught today, for example, counseling and also educating the entire public, is one thing that's going to actually bring or decrease the rate at which youth take drug abuse or abuse drugs. Thank you very much.
My name is Spencer Adams, and I'm here to talk about drug abuse. What I learned about drug abuse is the signs that will make you notice that someone is taking drugs. Eye redness, your lips, darkening of lips, your brains, your physical. There will be a change in your physical body. There will be a change in your brain activities.
I go by the name AJ Kingsley Zenda. So I've been inspired a lot today. So I was educated on AMR. So when we talk about AMR, it means, or the abbreviation or the full meaning is antimicrobial resistance. So this is the ability of microorganisms to resist the work or the effectiveness of antimicrobials such as antifungals, antivirals, and antibodies. So we are also educated on drug abuse. So we have a lot of effects of drug abuse, such as disturbing the frontal lobe of your brain and also making you very high, and it will prevent you from thinking very straight and other stuff. Thank you.
Okay, so my name is Promise Piapon, a student of O'Reilly Senior High School. Today I learned about drug abuse, and drug abuse is taking drugs without a prescription of the doctor. And then I learned some effects that happens when you abuse drugs. It affects your body, your lungs, and then your brain. So what I learned was that if you are supposed to take any drug, you have to get the doctor's attention and take a prescribed drug.
Preserving the future today. Preserving the future today.